Now, he makes an off comment there about the computer that defeated Kasparov, and then Watson, which twice has won the championship on Jeopardy. Well, I happened to be watching the first challenge between Watson and the humans that were on Jeopardy, and it was really quite something to watch, I have to tell you. But at the very end, they have the final Jeopardy question, and so the final Jeopardy question was something around, okay, what city has an airport named after a war hero and, I don't know, something else, like a ball field or something else, okay? So Watson gave the wrong answer, said it was Toronto. And I said, hey, it's got to be Chicago. And so the answer came up. Watson got it wrong. The two other humans got it right. And so did I. It was Chicago. Now, I am no trivia expert, but that shows you where artificial intelligence still is having challenges with regards to what the human brain can do. All right. I love this comment from Hameroff. Assuming that a neuron is a bit-like computer firing on and off is a tremendous insult to neurons. And here's why. It turns out that neuroscientists basically are treating each neuron as if it's a memory storing device like on computers, like it's a bit or a byte, okay? So consequently, they have calculated how many bit bytes the human brain has. And so they're saying by 2029 that computers will surpass our capacity to store memory. Well, what Hameroff has discovered, and I'm not going to read this because it's very technically based, but they discovered that this isn't memory, it's about patterns, and it's not limited to the neuron itself, it's all coming through the microtubules. All right? So what they find out is that what AI people are saying what the human brain can store in memory, the whole brain, it turns out one single neuron can store that much in patterns. One neuron. Okay? So, to Hameroff, this is a big joke. He's saying that humans are trillions of times ahead of the fastest computer in parallel processing. And he says he doesn't think there will ever be a time that they will be able to catch up.
And then,
whoops. All right. This is the part that really cements it for me with regards to computers versus consciousness in this big argument that's going on. Wrap your brain around this one, okay? Do humans have the ability to sense the future? Survey of experiments so far say yes. Can your brain detect events before they even occur? That was the stunning conclusion of a 2012 meta-analysis of experiments from 7 independent laboratories over the last 35 years, which found that the human body can apparently detect randomly delivered stimuli occurring 1 to 10 seconds in the future. This was corroborated by Princeton's PEAR lab in examining what they call quantum eggs. Not only did their data show that human consciousness was detecting the 9/11 event ahead of time, we knew 9/11 was happening 2 hours before the planes hit the buildings. 2 hours it showed up on their quantum egg measurement devices. In a more recent paper called Predicting the Unpredictable, Mossbridge et al., Researchers have critically analyzed these findings, considering possible mundane explanations for the results, and also the implications of the results if they truly do point to a paradigm-shaking discovery. The key observation in these studies is that human physiology appears to be able to distinguish between unpredictable, dichotomous future stimuli, such as emotional versus neutral images or sound versus silence. This phenomenon has been called presentiment, or in quote-unquote, feeling the future. Emphasis mine on the word feeling. We call it predictive anticipatory activity, or PAA. The phenomenon is predictive because it can distinguish between upcoming stimuli. It is anticipatory because the physiological changes occur before a future event. And it is an activity because it involves changes in the cardiopulmonary, skin, and/or nervous systems. Also, Mossbridge et al. Found that neither questionable research practices, quote-unquote bias, nor physiological artifacts seem to be able to explain PAA. Hang on. And that the evidence indicates that there is a temporal mirroring between pre- and post-event physiological events, so that the nature of the post-event physiological response is correlated with the characteristics of the PAA for that event. So what does that mean? It indeed turns out that quantum entanglement effects, encompassed by such terms as quantum information or quanglement, Penrose, appear to have to be thought of as being able to propagate in either direction in time, into the past or into the future. Hang on. Thus, I put before you, intelligence is obsolete if consciousness isn't. We need to come up with a different word to closer differentiate between computers and humans. All right, right here.
Does this explain how animals know before an earthquake or before the tsunami?
Absolutely.
So they have microtubules?
They do. They have microtubules as well. They have consciousness. Though there would be people who would argue that. But there is enough evidence to stipulate that animals also have consciousness. Gene.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's supposed to be psychic going on out here. When we were at the earthquake center in Golden a number of years ago, the people there said, yes, chickens seem to be pretty good at picking up earthquakes before they occur also.
Was everybody able to hear that?
No.
All right, so both people are basically indicating that there is ample evidence that animals also have this future predictability capability, not just humans. And I'm saying the reason for that is because there is growing evidence that animals as well have consciousness. Yes?
Then why do why animals have a stronger ability than humans to detect earthquakes?
Who says they do? What I'm trying to tell all of you, we've been brainwashed. Seriously, I'm not joking. We are magnificent. We are magnificent. We are so much more than we realize. So much more. And the evidence is there. If we could just get everybody to pay attention. Richard.
This is scratching the surfaces, this work of showing that in truth there is no linear time.
All right, so Richard is bringing up the notion of linear time. You guys are getting way ahead of me. Indeed, there is no linear time, and that came out of the research done at, oh my God, I can't remember the university, Cornell, with the amplitude-hedron discovery. And with the amplitude-hedron, which is a mathematical discovery in being able to figure out new particles, quantum particles that show up in specifically the Hadron Collider. What they discovered by creating this geometric mathematics is that amazingly, time and space fall out of the equation. Okay? In case this doesn't register, it means that when it comes to subatomic particles, there is no time and space. What are we going to do about that one? All right, can I get through here? We'll go with questions afterward. All right, one more.
Can the amplituhedron be singing in 3 dimensions?
Can it be singing?
Yeah, can it be made?
They don't know this, but I do. Yeah. There is an intimate connection, and I'll get that probably in the next slide, between sound and geometry. It has to be, even, you know, string theory is mandating that.
Is there images of it?
Of the amplituhedron? Yes. I showed it last time. We won't have enough time to get into it again. But you can Google it. It'll show up. It has caused such a shock. It's all over the place now. All right, let me go.